back to what Arty Noobs for general disturbance. Looks like this battle has already started, and unfortunately we didn't get a countdown, but anyway, the vehicle you're looking at is an FV3805, which is the TN9 British SPG. This one's located on the southwest spawn of Karelia, and it's under the command of legionary2099. Now, I do believe that that is the stock gun for this Arty. You get three different guns on the FV3805. The first one is the stock gun, is the 5.5 inch, and I think that's what we've got there. The second gun is the 6-inch gun. That's the same gun as on the FV207, and it's 152.4 millimeters in caliber. And the third gun is the 7.2 inch howitzer, and yeah, that's not the 7.2. The 7.2 is capable of 850 alpha, but it's got a fairly long reload, 35.47 seconds, and it looks like legionary2099 is actually firing at a phenomenal rate, which means that this must be the stock gun, which is the same as the 5.5 inch Crusader gun, and it's got a reload time of 22.05 seconds. You can see that the legionary2099 is actually getting off the shot every 20 seconds or thereabouts, so I definitely think he's got the stock gun. He's actually 17 seconds per shot, and he's getting lots of damage on this AMX M454 and the 50TP down at this corner of the map. Some of those shells are actually impacting on the roof of those tanks, and they won't be happy about that, because those shells could actually penetrate them if they get the right spot. But it looks at the moment as if the shells are actually just about hitting the toughest armor. I'd say that 50TP's taken a few impacts already. Another round out. I think that one landed behind the type, the 50TP. He's lost sight of them for the moment. Okay, he's got a Jaegeru up this end of the map, as well as a T103, and there's an M40, M43 nearby as well. Got a 40TP pulling back. That's on the horseshoe. Doesn't get a hit there, but it landed in front of him. Now we've got an Object 140 who's come up onto the horseshoe, trying to attack that AMX M454, but he does get taken out by our Barask, who's well over our side of the map. And you can see it's only a short distance away. Okay, so we've gone back to that spot. Now we've got a T30 popped up. Rounds out. Another direct hit, this time on the front plate. You can see where it hit, just above the front plate join. And there's the 50TP, and look at the number of impacts on the roof of that vehicle. Quite a few. He's lost a lot of hit points already. Another direct hit, and that one was further back near the cupola. And he managed to get 156 from that impact and some stun assist afterwards. So what can I tell you about the FV3805? Well, it's based on the Centurion, and they made two prototypes to test it out to see if it could actually mount the howitzers, and they were generally used as range vehicles around the various ranges that the British Army uses down in Dorset. But sadly, I'm afraid it never got converted into an artillery. So no SPG based on the FV3805. It was a prototype, two prototype design. Now he's aiming over to the south edge of the map, near the tank destroyer rock, right up at the far end. He's firing a round in. There's an explosion, but no damage as far as we can tell. We don't know if there's an enemy tank destroyer over there, but various of our teammates have actually indicated that they think something's over there, because they've been pinging the map on that spot, so maybe there is an enemy tank. We've also got a Peregrine somewhere on the ramp, That ramp that's used by Quickie Baby in many of his videos, actually, whenever he played an assault game on Karelia. D4. There's a little spot there. Oh, and an enemy Jaeger who's suddenly come into sight in the marsh area, hiding behind the rocks. And lots of fire is being directed at him. There's the Peregrine. Oh, he's popped up again. He looks like he popped out from behind the rock and got spotted by our guys up on the horseshoe. Okay, we've got the T30. Looks like the 50 TP died at one point. He took too much damage, but it looks like our AMX 65 ton also expired on that corner. Okay, we're having a general look around the marsh, trying to spot that Jaeger again. And there he is. Now, can we put a round in? Well, it hit the side of the Jaeger, but didn't go through because, of course, it probably didn't have enough pen. Unfortunately, these 5.5-inch shells will only go through 35mm of armour, and the Jaeger does have considerably more than that on the side of the casement. So, yeah, ideally he wants to use the high HP, high HE rather, which is 44mm of pen, but 650 damage. Or better still, he used the armor piercing on the side, because that's only got 400 HP, but it's got 212mm of pen, and he's got plenty of AP rounds, so that could be quite useful. I've seen a lot of people playing the FV3805 recently. I get the feeling they're actually testing it out to see how much damage they can actually get to get their third marks and the like. Just in the past couple of weeks, we've seen Oxidor playing the FV3805 a lot. In fact, I've got a few replays from Oxidor to actually get done. So I will try to endeavour to get those done. And there's that Jaeger again. Well, he got that one into the side, but he only got 6 hit points of damage from HE. So I'm afraid that's all a side impact on the Jaeger would yield, but it did impact on the front of the vehicle. Now we're looking at a Lancer C who's crawled up onto the step just below the horseshoe. Rounds out. It hits the rock face, but that might have done some damage to the Lancer C. We'll just have to wait and see. The scores are still very, very even because there's only 4 kills on either side. And, well, the hit points as well are very even. There's only 226 hit points in it. Okay, there's that Jaeger in the center. That's a bit of a dangerous position to be in now because he's actually getting shot in the side as well as from our direction, and now he's taking serious damage. And he's gone. So that really costs the enemy team, that one. They lost over 1,000 hit points very, very quickly. We're firing at the Lancer C again. You can still see that there's 6.5 minutes left in this battle, but each side has only killed about 1/3 of the enemy team. So this battle could come down to the wire in the end. Now, the one thing about the FV3805 that's not good is it's a very big Arty in terms of size. It's also fairly slow. It's only got a 40 kilometers an hour top speed, which means it's not zooming about the battlefield very quickly. Being enclosed, though, means that you do get the bonus from having vents and vent purge, which speeds up everything in terms of reload time and also accuracy. Okay, we spotted that Lancer C again. Still on that step area, and he keeps moving backwards and forwards. 2 Arty shells went in there. So it looks like our friend in the M40, M43 also had the idea of hitting him at the same time. And there's the Lancer C. And yes, he's taken out by 1 shot from the Barasque, which shows that, yes, he was stripped of health. And the Barasque saw that and dived in to get the kill. Although the Barasque himself ought not to stay there for too long, because he doesn't have much in the way of hit points in terms of, well, armor rather, not hit points. And they've lost the Peregrine as well. Our Crabbar managed to get the Peregrine from the horseshoe area. So we're now starting to make gains on the enemy. He's zooming about very quickly, legionary2099. So we're only getting to see what he's doing. He's quickly aiming and then selecting a new target. But I suppose when you're using the 5.5-inch gun, you've got such a short reload time that you're having to select targets at a rapid rate to get dialed in before you have to move to a new position. Wasn't able to get a shot there on the MXM454 because he's hiding behind the rock very effectively. You can see some impacts have already hit that rock instead of hitting the M4. He's going to give it another go. Rounds out. RNG says no again. And our SMV CC67 can't get round the corner. He's having difficulty because the 50 TP dive didn't leave much of a gap, and you can see the tracks are turning on that AMX M454. Oh, and he just got tracked as well. The tracks are turning, but he's not moving anywhere. In fact, you can see a number of rounds, armor-piercing rounds, actually went through his cupola. Now, the AMX M454 is a tank that Skill has been playing a lot of just recently. Whilst I'm actually doing videos, I do have streams on my second computer, and I use that actually to support some of the Arty players that we find online to watch their streams whilst they're playing during the day, to give them extra support. Okay, they lost the Ferdinand, and that means now they're 5 tanks down, and we're starting to overwhelm the enemy. There was somebody over in that corner of the map. Looks like there's a Shrek. Fire around in on that corner. And we do get some splash. I see that Legionary likes to pull back after he fires his shot to see it from a distance. Okay, we've got a T28 and he's almost loaded again. That 5.5-inch does load very, very, very quickly. Rounds out. Long flight time. Direct hit right on top of him. Right next door to the turret, and he gets the stun assist off that one as well, because the M40, M43 finished him off with his next round. Oh, no, you can't mount that. There's only 2 enemies left, the T28 and an Object 279E. And the 279E's in a tug of war with one of our guys, or was, unfortunately. Yes, it's the TNHT Viz 51. And now he's the last enemy alive, but he won't be for long, because we've got guys coming around the corner, the cavalry. And Legionary's trying to get as close as he can so he can get a shot. And the 279E has been turned to mincemeat. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game from Legionary2099 in the FV3805. So it just goes to show, even with the stock gun, you can actually do a huge amount of damage with this Arty because it fires so quickly. He also managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he ended up with 8. And he got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. At least 6 tanks subsequently taken out by other teammates. And he didn't kill a single enemy tank in that game, but he certainly touched a lot of them. And that really did help him win that medal. When it came to damage, he didn't get the highest in the game. Note, that went to the Cranbarn, who got 4,382 hit points, but he didn't get a high caliber because it wasn't 20% of the enemy hit pool. The second highest damage was the Barask, who got 3,337, and the third highest damage in the game was the Object 140 on the enemy team, who got 2,520, and we can see that Legionary managed to get 1,687, which is, well, middle of the table, and actually quite low when it comes to the others. But when it came to kills, it was the Cranbarn who did the best with 4 kills. 2 kills went to the T30, the Barask, and the MXM454. At least I think that's a 54 it is. and also to the one of the enemy arties, the school bus. He managed to get 2 as well. Legionary didn't get any kills, but as we note, that actually helped him to get that medal. And when it came to base XP, he's a little near the top of the table. Yes, because the Brass managed to get 1,439. The SMV-CC67, who was holding that AMX M454 of the enemy team at bay, stopping him from moving any further south, he got 1,126. And then we got Legionary with 1,067. The only 3 players who managed to get over 1,000 in that game. And I do think that it was down to that 5.5-inch gun that Legionary was getting so much damage, so many hits on the enemy. Let's have a look at detail. 33 shots fired. That's a huge number. If he'd actually used the top gun, I think that would have been at least half of that, or maybe less. He managed to get 8 direct hits on the enemy. None of them penetrated, though, because, of course, as I said, the 5.5-inch doesn't have much in the way of penetration. In fact, it's remarkably lacking in penetration. Even the 7.2-inch gun has only 46 millimeters of pen, but the pen on the stock gun is only 35 millimeters. So, yeah, it's very difficult to pen with this particular Arty unless you hit them on the right spot, or you're aiming at a tank that's actually got very low armor to start with. 27 splashes, though, 1,687 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. 7 enemy vehicles were damaged, none were killed, 2,976 hit points of stun assist off 28 stuns. So he was putting off a lot of stun assist, and that certainly helped in getting the ace tanker. On a free-to-play account, he earned 34,000 credits from that game, 17,200 from personal missions payout, and after resupply of ammunition and consumables, he came away with a profit of 8,500. Well, it's fairly low, but then got to remember this is tier 9, and he did use consumables, and obviously as well, the fact is that at tier 9 on a free-to-play account, you're not going to get much in the way of credits anyway. 1,067 base XP, times 2 for the first victory, 2,134 from personal missions payout, and 4,268 altogether. So yes, the FV3805, which artillery piece is the best? Which howitzer is the best? Well, according to this, you'd say, yeah, it's got to be the stock gun is actually the best. No, I don't think it is, but it's nice to think that that's the best. It might be that you'll find that the middle gun, the 6-inch howitzer, is probably the best because it's got a 26-second reload instead of the 35-second for the 7.2, and of course the stock reload is only 22 seconds. You just saw that. So imagine that fast reload, but then it only being an extra, say, 4 seconds on top of that, and you can put out a lot of shells with the 6-inch howitzer, and of course you'll get more damage on the enemy, so you will get your Confederate because you'll be hitting lots of the enemy, but you'll be actually doing more damage to them in the process. So there you go. That was an ace tanker game in the FV3805. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.